one of the first very important insights to understand about emotional maturity is this, that nobody is making me or making you, nobody is making us feel what we're feeling. Nobody is making me feel what I'm feeling right now. Nobody's doing it to me. Nobody has the power to make me feel emotionally, let's say, something negative, except me. So it's what I do with the incoming information that is actually dictating what I feel. Now, if this first insight wasn't true, if there was no truth to this insight, then any kind of emotional work would be basically a waste of time, because it would basically be a way of saying, I really have nothing to do with my emotional life. It's set in stone. The cause of it was other people, and the responsibility lies in other people's hands, and to be able to change it doesn't lie within me, it lies within somebody else. So you can see, if we don't get this fundamental insight about our emotional lives, namely that nobody is making me feel what I feel right now. Nobody has the power to do that. It may be hard to believe, actually. Someone can criticize you, and then you feel whatever you feel. Why is it that 10 different people can get the same criticism and they'll feel 10 different ways about it? Some people will be devastated by criticism. They'll just be devastated. Some people will feel ashamed. Some people will feel humiliated. Some people will feel angry. Some people will feel resentful. Some people will lash out. Some people really will just take the criticism in, and they won't be bothered by it. It won't cause them distress. They will take it in. They will, to see if there's truth in it. They'll really look at it clearly, but they won't make them feel Why is it that all these people can have totally different reactions to a very similar experience? Well, one of the reasons is because those reactions are actually being caused by how they are interpreting what someone says, or they're interpreting a situation. And so this is so important to get, because it is where all healthy, mature, emotional, mature work begins. It has to begin, because it means that you become your own resource, ultimately, of emotional freedom and maturity. If it wasn't actually in your hands, then there would be no emotional evolution, really, except by happenstance. That, you would really have no part to play. In other words, you would be the helpless victim of whatever you were experiencing. Of course, when we're in pain, when we're triggered, when we're angry, when we're upset, when we're in sorrow, distress, it's very easy to imagine that something or someone else is doing this to you, whether it's life is doing it to you or somebody else is doing it to you. Of course, life plays its part, and other people do play their parts in your experience. But again, it's realizing that what you or I do with our experience, or what you and I do with the words, actions, and behaviors of others, is what causes suffering. And probably even more so, it's what we do with our own internal dialogue. That's what creates the most sorrow, by far and away. It's how we are relating to our mind. It's how we're relating to our emotions. It's how we're relating to our whole experience of being. So this first insight that nobody is making me feel what I feel, that nothing is being imposed upon me. Not now, right now. I understand, when you're some little kid and terrible things happen to people, and sometimes terrible things are in a certain sense imposed upon you, which can be very terrible and difficult and emotionally damaging and hurtful. But the way through even those very difficult points of wounding, the way through is when we begin to see that you and I, that we are the arbiters of what's going to hurt us and what's not going forward. That we are the ones that that emotional distress depends on how we are relating to what's happening. I don't mean all sorts of emotional distress. Just because you're not feeling good doesn't mean you're somehow having some emotionally confused, moment. Not every negative experience you have is something that you even need to look deeply into to discover its origin. Some things just kind of come through, and it's kind of natural that they do come through. But what we're dealing here with now is a kind of emotional difficulty, I think, that is common to sort of the human condition.